Gentlewoman from Illinois.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think that from the very beginning we've always said we need to restore confidence in the market and to provide the taxpayer with protection. But I think we also, and I think from what's happened in the last week or so, that we need to restore investor confidence and confidence in our government and the federal leaders, rather, and the regulators, that if Americans work hard and run a solid company, they're not going to be subject to punishment from the government if they do well. And on that note, I think that we need to work together and really to focus on this economy. And I'm afraid that we're just not doing it or not getting all the information. What came up at our hearing last week was I asked the question of Mr. Liddy about the 3 trustees that were appointed to, I believe, to represent U.S. taxpayers' interests on the AIG board. We'd never even heard, or at least I hadn't, and I suspect most of the members hadn't even heard about these trustees and how did they, what happened with informing the taxpayers about the bonuses and things. And I think we need to move ahead, and I hope that we are going to really take a holistic look at all of these provisions. And we're talking about executive compensation without looking at the whole picture. Now we've got a new plan, and we see that there seems to be some increase in confidence here. But so I have just a couple of questions. Number one, how many, Secretary Geithner, how many actual, what are your resources in the Treasury Department to do this right now?
We have a very strong group of people working very hard. We're going to need some more people, though, and working very hard to bring in enough talent to help us get through this. And I think that should be a focus. I mean, it's going to be difficult to find these people, isn't it? Or obviously, there you would have them. It is hard. We're finding a lot of people willing to come serve their country at this moment of challenge, and I think that's very encouraging.
Okay. So can you give me a number of people?
A number of people that we need?
A number of people that are actually working in your...
Across the entire Treasury?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't do that today.
No. I meant that you're relying on to do this.
Oh, in the domestic finance part of the Treasury, I'd be happy to give you the exact numbers of staffing today. And again, these are terrific people working very hard, but we're going to need more.
Okay, thank you. And then, Mr. Chairman, how many are working on this issue in the Federal Reserve?
Excuse me, which specific issue?
Well, working on AIG right now.
AIG is being managed by Federal Reserve Bank of New York primarily. President Dudley is here. He has about 10 of his people in the firm every day, all the time, and they are supported by analysts both at the Federal Reserve Bank of New York and at the board.
Okay.
We also have some outside consultants that we've hired to help us in certain areas where we don't have the expertise internally.
Because I saw an ad in one of our local papers just asking for someone that could do unravel the mortgage-backed security. So which brings me to the next question. So I have an investor in my district, and they want to be part of this and purchase some of these legacy assets, as you're calling them now. How would they go about doing that? Can an individual apply to be able, if this program goes through, to purchase this, or do they have to be part of this 5 or 6 management group?
Individuals will most realistically benefit through the professionals that manage their pension funds or other financial assets. That's the most direct way they're going to be able to benefit.
Well, what if they are an investor and they have a private, equity?
Well, it depends on whether they meet the broad conditions we're going to establish to try to protect the American taxpayer. Again, we want to make sure that the investors and the asset managers meet highest standards for care and competence.
Then, Chairman Bernanke, could you answer the question about the 3 trustees? Are you in touch with them?
Yes, they've only been appointed relatively recently, and their job is basically to oversee the voting interests of the U.S. Treasury. They are very high-quality people, and they will be involved in our discussions.
Okay. And Secretary Geithner?
Yes.
Are you working with the 3 trustees?
Yes, although I haven't had the opportunity to do so since I took on this post, but I'm sure I'll have the chance.
And you were doing that, working with one of them when you were the trustee, or in the New York Fed?
Well, this structure was designed in cooperation with the Treasury and the board when I was president of the New York Fed, and the selection process for those trustees, I believe, concluded before I left the New York Fed. And as the chairman said, these are very capable public servants.
Okay. The time has expired. The gentleman from Massachusetts.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.